Gentlemen, welcome, and welcome again to the Brotherhood, Manhood, Fatherhood Conversation Series presents the conversation before the conversation. Today's topic is what does it mean to be a man, part 2, the woman's edition. Before we get started, we got a couple of housekeeping rules. One, we made an adjustment, so anybody who needs to, quote unquote, go to the restroom, we're going to ask that you go behind the cameras to get to it. That's one thing. Ms. Lisa will also probably guide you. The other thing is we operate from respect to mic. When one person's talking, try not to overtalk. We know that sometimes the conversation can get a little excitable, and we can have something we want to say, and we want to rush to say it before we lose that thought. But sometimes your thought gonna get lost, right? If I try to get the conversation back, for whatever reason, if you're talking, I'm trying to get in. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to, maybe something was said, I want to get more out of it. So I do try to back off as much as, I do intentionally back off as much as possible, but I am going to, if I see something or I hear something that I think that's going to be beneficial, I'm going to try to get you to probably say more about it. The other rule is some but all, which is some but not all. We're talking about what we're talking about. We're not talking about what we're not talking about. Because everybody in the world can say, well, I know somebody who is a contradiction to whatever it is we're talking about. But we're not talking about the one person we know. Okay? Right? We are speaking in generalizations. And for the most part, I have not had an issue with this. Right? I think we've been fortunate that the panel, the guys that are here normally, and the guests that we brought in have been intelligent people who understood that. So we haven't had to have a lot of that. That's something that slows us down from dealing with what we're dealing with. So now, that being said, we can get ready to get into the topic. Before we do that, I want to say that we are here at Mimi's Twisted Pop-Up, located at Exclusive Cuts Barbershop at 4353 Edgewater Drive, Suite 200. We have an array of vendors who are selling a little bit of everything. Miss Lisa is going to go through the list. I'm sure she'll interrupt me to do that at a later date. But we have food. We have a food truck that's on its way, so you can get you something to eat. You can get you something to smell good. You can get you something to look good. You can get something that tastes sweet afterwards. So that being said, now we can introduce our guests. Okay, so returning back for the first time since her first hooray here at the table is Miss Keisha S. Morgan. Keisha and I had an interesting little back and forth happening on Facebook, and it was really cool and really pleasant. I really enjoyed the engagement, and I invited her to come out, and she did, and the conversation was wonderful. It was a really good time, and we knew then, right afterwards, that we were going to have you back. So, next, returning for the third time, Miss Edeline Esperance.
Good job.
Okay. See, I did teach school, right? So if you taught school and you look at your roster, yeah, that can be a chore depending. And I was out there by Oak Ridge High School. Oh yeah. So we had the Bosnians and we had people from Bosnia, Sarajevo, Czechoslovakia, Romania, Haiti, Dominican. So I learned how to say take a lap in a few languages. So and joining us for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sherika Robinson.
You got it.
All right. Okay, I did pretty good with the name. Thanks, Jake. Okay. So we normally start with the segment we call Damn, Damn, Goddamn. But what I want to do is I want to talk about one thing, but then I want to really kind of get into the topic. I think there's a lot here on this topic, and that we it's going to be beneficial for us to explore. So, and Damn, Damn, Goddamn is me picking some things that I saw that happens, that's happening out there, and we just kind of talk about it. So we're not going to do Damn, Damn, we're just going to do Goddamn. Goddamn, Kekepalmer. What were you thinking? So, Miss Kekepalmer went to a concert, and she was dressed the way people in that world dress, right? Mm-hmm. Right? And then she went on stage, and she seemed to have a really good time with a superstar. And she recently had a baby. The baby can't be what? The baby's a few months old? Yeah. Right? She has a baby that's a few months old. And I gotta do this from the man. I gotta do this the man way. So you left me home with the baby.
Right.
And I look up and I see you on YouTube, hugged up and dancing kind of interestingly and being wooed and you know, falling all over this other dude. Now, I made a comment about not appreciating that, and in the world attacks me. So what do y'all think about that incident? Was Kiki wrong? Was her man wrong? Is there anyone in this situation who's wrong?
Yeah. I think they just both came from a place of hurt and just being exhausted, like their new parents, and the way he reacted embarrassed himself as the man, and what she did embarrassed herself as, you know, the woman in the relationship, the mother. But like they can both, you know, point at each other if they want to, but you know, they both, it's a mistake on both ends is how I see it. So I don't think one mistake is greater than the other. Like, she just wanted to live a little. You know, she just became a mom. She was overly overwhelmed. And then he got in his feelings because, yeah, she left him home with the baby. And, he happened to see her dancing with this attractive superstar who does this to all the women in his concerts. And, yeah, he got in his feelings.
I disagree.
He got his feelings.
I think they both. I just think they both came from a place of hurt. So I didn't really look too far into it because it's like not my relationship. But yeah, that's just how I see it. I'm just looking from a little small window. I didn't like open the blinds or nothing like that.
Okay.
I think that Kiki was feeling herself. She had a baby, she spilled out, her skin's cleared up, and she's, you know, seeing a new version of herself. And to be wooed the way she was by Usher, she got caught up. Now,
that was what you did. You got a song called Caught Up.
Yeah.
I thought you started Caught Up.
That was a fun, right? That was fun.
And I think her daughter's father or son's father was being sensitive, which is rare for a man to even put out there that bothered him. So I commend him for that. But I believe that the way that she responded was not a display of her feminine energy. I don't think that she should have responded the way that she did to him, saying that slighted him, that he felt disrespected, because he may have only felt disrespected because of where their relationship was going, the trajectory of their relationship. So if they were having conversations of them being together and being committed to one another, then I think it behooved her to respond and say, I apologize, I got caught up, type of thing. But her response to say, "Oh, I'm single until I'm married," that was arrogant, and I didn't. That was not for me. That was not. I feel her most powerful display as a woman, okay, and as a young mother, because she had the opportunity to control that situation in both their benefit, and she did not.
Eddie, any contribution?
I like that.
I feel like it's such a layered thing because I want to know the root cause of that situation coming into fruition. What happened to the boundaries that were made in the relationship before it even got to that point? Because I think when two people come together, whether they're married or not, they live together. Yes.
I don't know.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows the status of their
Let's
relationship.
assume that they do for your
Yeah,
Let's assume that they live together. So for me, it's like I don't know their dynamic to where she thought it was okay for her to leave the house dressed that way to go see Usher, and I don't know where he didn't have enough confidence maybe to say, hey, I don't agree with you wearing that. That the conversation should have been had before she even left the house, not at the concert on Twitter.
I'm a firm believer that you let people be who they are so you know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
If she put that on and thought that was okay, that is a display of her character, and that's what she wants. So you kind of let people be who they are so that you can make any decision. Now, she could have gone out there and still carried herself like a queen, and a queen that was in a relationship, even with that on. But she got caught up. I feel like we all make mistakes. She got caught up. Her power was definitely in the response to her man going publicly and saying, "You disrespected me."
Yeah.
That was her opportunity to reel that thing back in and say, "Baby, I apologize. You were right. I got caught up. You know, I'm feeling myself. This baby done cleared up my skin. I got a little booty now. You know what I mean?"
Say that's you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that on our room.
Jeremy, you finna?
Oh no.
Did you see her like at a performance since, and she was like on stage rapping, and she's like, I need is a bag and all this. Yeah, it's just wild. It's super crazy.
But that's like what you.
I mean, isn't that most of the women theme songs now? So like you said, she got caught up.
But that's like what Adeline said, what you guys all said. Sometimes you don't know. It's like Mike Tyson had this quote where he said everybody got a plan so they get hit in the mouth. So like, I think Kiki came out. She was like, "Well, he saw me before I left. He slapped me on the ass. Said I look good." That's what men are going to do that. But then when you gotta see them, honestly not me, but I understand.
Okay.
But like somebody, when you see her with her ass out and she dancing in front of Usher and she giggling, and he not that funny. He just sings songs. Now you gonna be like,
You don't know that.
now you gonna be like, hold on, wait a minute. I feel funny about this. His mistake is he did it in public out loud to everybody. Even though they're a public partner, and that's why he did it out loud. But
She did what she did in public.
that's true. But he did what you want your man to do. Say, yo, when you did that, it hurt my feelings. And instead of her being like, damn, I hurt your feelings. She OD. I'm a mother and I'm single till I'm not single. Whatever little corny catchphrase doesn't really make sense because y'all created the child. Y'all live together. Y'all married. Y'all stop doing that dumb shit because y'all ain't go sign no papers, man. Y'all live like a married couple. Don't say we're not married now. We not married. We don't have a covenant now because you embarrassed me because I embarrassed you.
I've seen a different Kiki since this happened. The Kiki that I knew prior to this is not who I'm seeing now. As far as saying she doesn't need a man and all she's about is the bag. And I just think that her glow up has gone to her head.
She's very boisterous.
It's a rebrand. It's a rebrand.
And for those people, she's going to attract that tribe. If that's the type of women that she attracts, those are going to be. However, someone like me, I'm now like, dang, Kiki. it's been a disappointment for me because I was a Keke Palmer fan prior to this display of her being disrespectful to herself, her child, and to her daughter's father. She was.
Sir.
Before this incident happened, like, did y'all know of any recent things or projects she was working on or anything anyway?
No, I just know she has a really big following and she is always on Instagram and YouTube and things like that. But prior to this, no.
I think she has a podcast.
But that,
Somebody pointed out to me that the same time that happened like a few years ago was when the whole Will Smith Jada thing happened. Like the same time.
hey,
Wait, what?
well, what are you saying? It's some kind of conspiracy?
I don't know.
I think he's saying there's a pattern.
I don't know, but
y'all don't think it's weird that the women who are like pushing this like I don't need a man single agenda be like very committed to somebody else, to another man, and very dependent on that relationship, but they all like I don't need a man, and Sierra come out with a song she don't need a man, she married to some like billionaire football player or like that don't seem weird. Like
They just found their niche, so they're capitalizing off of these women. That's it. And it just takes a certain type of woman to realize that. So these women, like you just said, they're just capitalizing. They're getting the bag off of that tribe. That's it.
yeah. So the gag is
Yes.
see what I did? The gag that's the things he used to do. But anyway, but it's like the reality is they just handle that thing very immaturely.
Yeah.
But
They're young.
they are young,
They are
right?
young.
Yeah.
They are young.
She's not that young, man.
How old is she? How old is she?
29?
They're under 30.
30.
Under 30?
30?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, under 30. Under
Yeah.
30.
In their late
She's gonna
20s,
be,
I think.
she's gonna probably just hitting up her early 30s.
Yeah, about to have 30,
Yeah, and I don't,
Okay.
I'm not too
I think having this baby also gave her confidence.
did.
So
Like,
I-
to
29.
just boost it.
Yeah,
She
she
said
has it all the time.
And like
Well,
you said, she's
when I was
filled out.
29,
You know, she's never
Skin
seen
cleared
that side
up.
of her.
I
Yeah.
think what we learn here is never date a light skinned dude. I think that's
And when you were 29, when you were 29,
Oh, I was, they're saying late 20s, they should be old enough and mature enough, but I wasn't at no 28, 29.
What, I just grew up at 40.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years for me being a responsible adult.
Yes.
It's been about 2 years.
Say that.
but
I died daily.
But I think that's the point. Like it's not even about growing up. It's about when you faced with a place where you need to be mature and you weren't. It's about learning and growing. You don't just be like you don't lean into the immaturity.
Yes.
I'm a mother. Like instead of just being like, hey, we looking crazy out here.
Yeah.
It's not none of us got it all together. But when you lean into it with no accountability, that's when it's like, all right, we gotta dial this back.
Well, it was a personal matter, so that's why I was saying it came from a place of hurt. Like, they live in that world, so they're used to being exposed on television. They're used to it. It's normal to them. So when they reacted publicly, it's just the norm for them. So it's like an argument, and we're watching. Like, they don't
Oh look, so
care.
check it. The two hit it off after Palmer's best friend suggested she get him a drink. I walked up to him. My best friend said you should say something to him. So, that's the tone.
Now I like women buy me drinks.
Oh, I ain't arguing.
What are you trying to imply?
But she saying, hey, don't come at me like that. I got you to drink.
I bagged you.
You living in my house.
Yeah.
Oh!
So if I want to dance with us, and you sit still.
yeah, no, I didn't do whatever.
You wait at home. I'll be home.
Sit back,
They
little
just have a
daddy.
little argument.
Yeah.
You know how I be when I get home after the
As
promotion.
an opportunity right away. I'm a mother. She's selling
Be
her
ready.
That's why he mad.
Yeah. Okay.
Know how you be.
Yeah.
Coming home
That's
from runs.
that world, right?
Coming home from runs like a killer raptor.
Okay.
Now you looking at Usher
That's
like
that's
that.
just saying whose fault. It's Usher's fault,
That
man.
man was looking at it on the phone. He's scrambling. And
Usher gotta chill out,
all
man.
that.
Yeah, for real.
Usher gotta stop,
That's
man.
a wild for that.
Is that your fault?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be saying them.
But you know, in their defense, Usher does do that, and he does have like a
Yes.
section in the crowd
Yes.
for that,
Yes.
where he can
Different
like
to
pull a girl
everybody.
on the
Yes.
stage and do whatever to her.
Yes.
So
He's working.
he's like well known for it.
Yes.
And it's his job.
Next
Like,
person.
he's literally.
It is not his job to dance with my woman.
It's
No,
part of
it
his
is not your
contract.
woman's job to allow them
Correct.
to do that.
That's what Pimp said. That's the
So-
important thing.
It's just
The woman
entertainment.
still has the power.
So what's she
always.
supposed to do? Run out the way, right?
Ain't that what the
So
other
prime
girl did? She
example.
ran and sat
You
on
know,
the
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That was after she saw the conqueror though.
Wendy Harlow.
Remember? And she hopped on her
She was like, I won't be next.
Yes.
See, there you
Yeah, so
go.
you did have a choice.
She had a
Yes,
choice.
But she was
Always.
And she
always
chose.
have a choice.
Okay.
I would have did the same thing, jump on my man's lap. Usher.
Sing to us.
Yes, right, right.
I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have got up for Usher too. He probably would have fooled me.
And deal with my.
Can I interrupt you and shout out the vendors, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I want to shout out our vendors today here at Mimi's Twisted Pop-Up. This Sunday, rainy afternoon, but our wonderful vendors are here. We got Cocoa Butter Love Essentials, Q Designs, Crochet and Stuff. I cannot say the name of it. Pranav Moon Birthday. I can't ever say
You
it.
said it. Pranav Moon birthday.
Sweet and Fruity. We have, no, we don't have her. We got Violet Jewelry Box. We got Kit Water Company. We also have Esteem Learning Inc. Today, handing out school supplies for us today and doing some kids' activities. We have LZ Bracelets, Nascent Organics, Taylor's Kaleidoscope, Jaded Twisted Treats, and Mimi's Chocolate, etc. I also want to share with you the Evans Way Foundation that is also with us today.
Yes.
You are not alone. Our mission is to provide assistance to those who have lost a child or those who have lost hope in having children and have felt alone in their experiences. We strive to provide counseling and support to those who need a shoulder to lean on. With us, you are loved and cared for. You are not alone. So with the Evans Way Foundation, those who have had a stillborn or who have miscarried, this organization was formed to help those with their need and care and counseling.
Who formed that organization?
Our daughter, Elise Nicolette
Our daughter?
Cohen, is the founder.
Yay, Nikki.
So you can contact her for more information, 352-431-1213. Thank you.
Okay. We good?
That's all for now.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so back to, and we're going to get ready to go and transition, go ahead and take this opportunity to transition into the topic. In conversations like this, it's not unusual for us to get triggered. It's not unusual for us to be dismissive and deflect. So as we move forward, I'm going to ask that we try as much as possible not to do that and to speak to the topic with the intention that the questions or the statements are being presented with a willingness for us to move more toward the middle for balance in life and love.
Excuse me, can I make one more announcement, please? Our delicious food truck, Taste Heaven, has rolled up in the parking lot. So,
Okay.
I want to shout her out, Ms. Nicole McClendon, best food truck in town, Taste Heaven.
You just your
Don't
timing
be
was
lying.
just,
Yes, ma'am.
your timing was
I'm
just,
so sorry.
that's okay. But but in other words, soup's on, guys. Okay.
All time.
I'm so sorry.
So there's a few ways I could go with this. Let's see.
Just the man we looking for. Be home.
You know why and all afternoon.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, food good. You got good food.
She does.
Okay, so here we go. It was not Derek Jackson. Are we familiar with who Derek Jackson is?
Oh,
The
yes.
goat.
Yeah, if not Derek Jackson, if not Kevin Samuels, then what man who's out here that's speaking on behalf of men to women about women being more accountable, that is acceptable, who is acceptable to women?
19 keys.
I would say,
I'm asking the ladies. Because you don't know who's, because we're asking them who's speaking on our behalf, and they are in a place of willingness and acceptance when they're hearing this man speak.
What was the question again?
Umar.
What man?
Yeah, I like Umar. Dr. Umar. I do like Umar. I like KRS One.
The question was, what man is acceptable by women to speak on behalf of men on women's ability to be?
Like similar to what Derek
So,
Jackson was.
a woman said Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Andrew
Yeah.
Tate.
What was that?
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate?
I never
Yeah.
listened to him, but I heard he was hated.
Oh yeah, yes.
Very much so disliked by
Well, he's just
but
cut his hair off though. I think he.
but
Dr. Umar.
you gotta
Umar
look
Johnson.
at the most respectful.
So we got.
Oh, y'all don't know who Umar is?
I know who it is.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not familiar with them.
What is it about?
I've probably seen them, but honestly, I try to stray away from the men that are doing stuff like that now. Because some of them don't even have wedding bands. So I just kind of.
The wedding band was
It's a
justified?
Yeah, come on!
They're not even married and they're giving
That's
advice.
some
But
Western.
then that's the same thing.
so you got to be married to give good advice?
No, but they're not. It's just kind of like.
Steve Harvey married 3 times.
But he's still married and he's practicing what he's preaching, you know? And so it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of like Derek Johnson, yeah, he kind of, he did, or what- Jackson or Johnson? Jackson.
Right.
He jumped off the bridge when he was trying to portray a certain behavior, but out, stabbing his wife in the back. So yeah, that looks bad, but then it's like, I don't know, just for me, I just kind of strayed away from listening to all the men that are giving tips.
Okay.
I don't know,
That's
it's
it.
because I'm a
Yeah,
new parent.
No, that's interesting. So
I just follow the book.
you follow the book.
I like
The Bible.
Kevin Samuels, so he's one of my.
Kevin Samuels, I think he was misunderstood. Yeah,
I don't think that
You liked it?
Yeah, I think he was misunderstood. Yeah.
His delivery.
His deliverance, exactly.
Eddie?
I neither liked nor disliked him. A lot of the things that he was saying, I felt like it was true. I just didn't like his delivery.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
saying.
that may be due to the fact that I'm in school to be a therapist. So delivery is important because
Yeah.
the message doesn't matter if it falls on deaf ears. So there's a way that you can say things, and on both ends. There's ways that women can talk to men where they can receive it. There's ways that men can talk to women so that they can receive it. So I never had an issue with what Kevin Samuels was saying. But if you take a woman who is overweight and she's already having a rough time, she's already going through a divorce, and you say, well, maybe you should stop eating. That's why you can't find a man. That, you don't know where that could send a person who's already in a dark place. So it was only the delivery
But if that's
that I
how he
had an
feels,
issue with.
if that's how he feels, then he say how he feels.
And that's fine.
Women cold cut. Tell me how many women you listen to in your car. That's
It's-
talk cold
I
cut.
said it's-
Cold
I
cut
said
to
it's
men.
on both ends.
If that's how they feel, that's how they feel.
But is
It's
there
on
a
both
right way to
ends.
say that? Is there a right way to say you need to lose weight? What is a nice way to say you're overweight, you need to lose weight? That's a contributing factor to why your relationship may not be working. There is no nice way to say that. What is the delivery? What is the delivery on that?
Hey, baby, I'm going to the gym.
Not gonna
I like
hear
that.
it nice. Even if somebody say, hey, you know what, sis, I think you probably should, let's get a gym membership.
Yeah, like,
You're still
exactly.
gonna, you're still gonna hear you fat. You're still gonna hear.
Well, that's the
you're
person's
gonna-
insecurities,
Well-
and that's what we're trying to work on.
Yeah, right, true.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I felt I like that. So 'cause we talk about tone. We've talked about tone and delivery at this table often, and there's a consensus among the men. Not the consensus, but there is a consensus among the men, is that it don't matter how it's said. When somebody is talking to you and they say something that you don't want to hear, you're not going to be in a willing place to receive it.
But if you a black man, you grew up on black women telling you like it is, however they felt like telling you, and at some point you had to, did you listen? Did you absorb it? Did you hear what they were saying? Or did you say, oh no, you got to say that to me different?
Right.
Yeah, that's like saying I don't want to grow because of how you said it, so I'm gonna just stay like this.
I'm going to use that
That's
as my
kinda
excuse
crazy.
to not hear what you just clearly
Why
said.
y'all yelling at
They are yelling at us.
Tone and delivery, tone and
But
delivery.
it's levels though. But it tends to be in life as we mature, we go back and we can see times where somebody said something to us that we didn't want to absorb, but they were saying exactly what we need to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You get it when it's time to get it.
Right, and remember, women are what? Emotional? And men are what? Logical.
Everybody emotional now.
Yeah, but that can't be your excuse for not wanting to grow from some information you just attained because of how it was delivered.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's why,
Like all these other
maybe that's the excuse that's you.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
like-
emotional,
maybe,
you hurt
but-
my feelings.
It's like
But in
now
the
we
long
know.
run, the person that it hurts is only the person who refused to receive it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're only hurting yourself. You're stagnating your own growth by like trying to set standards on how information should be passed to you based on what you're gonna like add to your life.
There's layers and variations and conditions to that, because if that was, if it was a black and white thing, people wouldn't come to relationship therapists for mediation. It's like the way the woman is saying it to the man, he can't receive it, but then they go sit into therapy, and the therapist is able to mediate in a way where both partners can finally hear each other.
Sometimes, but I've seen people get a mediator. If they didn't like what the mediator said, they will automatically dismiss it and say, "Oh, that person was on your side, or that person was on your side."
Yeah.
So most times it don't even matter how it was orated. It matters how they receive it. And if you don't want to receive it, you can find a reason. So because if I'm talking in a firm voice, because that's the way I talk as a man, and you say that I'm yelling at you, then you're gaslighting me effectively. Especially if you know that that's how I talk.
Yeah, it comes across as though it comes across as though what I'm saying is not important enough for you to receive what I'm saying.
No, but both parties have to be mature in a mature enough place to understand that that's the way. If you're in a relationship with someone and they know your personality and they know your character and you've reached a place of adversity, they should be open to receiving what you have to say, as long as you're not going off the handle. Like, if you calling her out her name and yelling, of course she's not going to be able to receive you, but a firm tone should not negate her ability to receive what you're trying to say.
And I should be 6 feet tall, but things don't work out how they should. That's not how it works. Like if you are against receiving it, you're not going to receive it.
Yeah.
And
but that's a maturity.
That is a maturity thing, but it's also just it's a lack of accountability. It's just like if I don't want to hear you, then you won't be heard.
That's a
It doesn't matter if you say it nicely. Doesn't matter if you say it in a way where, because I used to do this thing where I just say, yo, this is what I did wrong and I shouldn't have did that. It was fucked up. And even me saying that, if you didn't want to receive that, you'll make it where you still feel like you're on defense, and you're not.
Well, sometimes it takes time. That's why therapy is not an open and shut case. Sometimes you gotta come back. When I went to therapy, where I was at the beginning of therapy was not the same place I was 6 months later, going religiously every Tuesday at 10 a.m. I wasn't open to receiving a lot of what my therapist had to say on day one. But 6 months later, I was a completely different person.
Keisha?
Oh, they already answered it.
Oh, okay, you did.
So can I ask this
It's a way.
question? Hold on,
It's a way
Jay.
to go about it.
So, in the beginning of relationships, when you meet a person, why don't you talk about effective communication in the beginning instead of waiting until he call you out a name in order to react or be triggered? Talk about these things beforehand so that when you get into those situations, you already know this is how I feel about this.
But that's because we're not the relationship template the relationship template that we use doesn't have that element as part as part of the selection process.
But we
part of
have
the dating process.
we have matured as adults because now we're talking about therapy as black people. So therefore, it's not part of the template. You just don't want to add it in there.
No, okay. So you're talking about where we are, right? But we got a few generations of young people coming up behind us. What's going to be key is us, for those of us who are where we are now, who have certain realizations, transmitting that information.
So it changes the template, right?
Right.
That's what I mean. So right now we're talking about, oh, okay, well this person is triggered by this person is triggered by that. Okay, you can stop that at the door.
But
as soon as you have that conversation, okay, I don't like this, I don't like that. Yeah, we gonna accept you for some of your flaws, but you calling somebody out their name, okay, you knew he had that in him in the beginning.
But that's why they call it triggers, because it ain't like, hey, this is the shit that fuck with me. It's like it triggers you because it scares you too.
You don't know until
you're like, oh, and sometimes you don't even know why. That's why it's really about self-awareness, because you don't even know why you trigger.
Most people don't know themselves
We're
enough
all
to
like
give
close
you
to
a
the
list
age
of
of
do's
40,
and don'ts.
bro. There's nothing that you can say to me that's like, oh, it's a trigger to where I'm almost 40 years old, bro. I know my boundaries.
But that's you. You be
That's
surprised.
you.
Right.
Surprised how people are not aware, dog. You be surprised when people are
I
not
understand
aware.
that, but I'm just like,
Listen.
Age is not a factor.
Here's the
And you've
thing.
been through certain levels to reach a certain level of self-awareness as well.
I ain't been to Dubai. I'm still trying to put this
I'm not saying I have
You a traveling man, right?
Transition,
You a traveling man. You learn.
Your life has been better than
You
mine.
learn some things.
Yeah.
You learn some things.
So
he talking about two.
here's the thing. Your trigger is yours. Right? So if I'm having a conversation with you and I say something and you get triggered, typically what happens is I would get attacked for saying something considered to be inappropriate by the person who was triggered. But the reality is something in your life, more likely than not, before me, happened. So and then since that thing happened, and if it wasn't dealt with in a way for healing to occur, it grows. And then you can run into somebody 10 years down the road and have a conversation with them, and you get triggered by something they said, and you want to blame them because of the work that you haven't done.
Yeah, and then you end up giving them everything that you saved for this.
Right.
For real.
So everything you wanted to
seems
say
way bigger than what it really was.
over the last 10 years spills out onto the person that's standing in front of you. Now, but that's what relationships are.
But the thing is too, how are people healing when they don't know how to heal in the first place?
Well, there's ways to do that. Coach Rudy coaching.
There's Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's on YouTube and he explains that how a memory or an experience can cause trauma, and then it becomes a memory, then it becomes imprinted onto your subconscious, and then how over time it snowballs and becomes a habit, becomes a pattern, it becomes who you believe yourself to be, and he tells you. He makes you aware of how it all happens so that you can like backtrack and unpack it all and get back to, you know what I'm saying?
That
Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's
that
really good.
unpacking is what most people are afraid of because it's ugly. Yeah. And people don't like to see that version of themselves. They don't like to look in the mirror.
But they give that version of themselves, the ugly side, the ugly version of themselves to other people.
And they don't realize it in their subconscious.
Because the answer is always inward. It's
Yeah.
always it's like if you trigger, it's because something that you have to deal with. If you anytime something happens, and I have to go back and dissect it and figure out like, yo, why did this make me upset? Or why did I react this way to this? Because a lot of times it's kind of like you ever wake up and you got like a scar on you that you didn't know, you don't remember making that scar, you don't remember cutting yourself there, and then when you realize it's there, that's when it hurt.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, this is beautiful. I'm loving this. I'm kind of on point now. Everything you know has brought you to where you are, and everything you don't know has kept you there. Right? So let me transition again. This is a question for the ladies. Are men better than women?
Duh, you know, obviously.
You laughing for?
My bad.
Men are better than women.
I think so.
Are men better than women?
I think it depends on what we're talking about.
Hey,
Men are better than women at certain things. Women are definitely better than men at certain things.
Let ladies talk.
Say that again, Dan. Say that again, Dan.
I said I think men are definitely better than women at certain things.
Right.
And women are definitely better than men at certain things.
Yeah.
So it depends on what we're talking about. It's not like general across the board.
Men are better than women.
Correct.
Because guess what? Women are also better than
There's some
men.
things that I could do better than him.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You see green as green. I see 3-4 different shades of green. But that's because he's a man. And a woman, I would never say like one sex is better than the other because they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for us.
Yeah, both
You wouldn't be here for us.
Correct.
That's we balance each other. You don't have the ability to carry somebody around for 9 months. You don't have the ability to turn around and
I got the seed for what you need.
I think both are required.
No,
Both are required for
I can make a baby on my 90th year of life. I can make a baby.
Come on, you gotta tell me. And how many sperms do you ejaculate to our one a
What's
month?
like 400
Like
million?
400 exactly. It's crazy.
That's why.
I'm abundant. I am life itself.
God.
That's what you give them, life force. And they package it up and create it in
I want to hear it.
It's like a trade-off, like a relay, right? Hand up.
Hold on,
Again, that's why I said it just, to me, I think, not necessarily we're equal, because there's other things that you're way better in than I am. But only a man, then again, here we go when they say, when men look for younger women. Technically speaking, it's not like they look for, they said like, they did a study, it's not that they look for younger women, it's just naturally what they're programmed or it's like what they look for because biology, because at a certain time, a woman has a time span where she is able to have children. A man can have a children from the day born to the day he drop down dead.
True.
He can always have a child.
Yeah.
Now, as far as a woman is concerned, she can have a child half of her lifetime. And then even with that being said,
Bring the chicks at the table.
how many is she able to really be able to carry without an issue? So that's why men, quote unquote, naturally look for women that are, not to say younger, but
They had a baby and bounce back.
you know what? That's not even that's
She good, babe?
So y'all
My bad, I'm just man. I'm sorry.
A little bit
So
more.
it's like I said, I'm not gonna say like man is better
Alright,
than
you in.
woman because I don't feel like man is better than woman, but I think there are a lot of things that I think men should be recognized for and should be appreciated for, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So let me this question to you, Lexi.
Yeah. One man.
Do you want the man that
In your
you
dreams.
choose to be with to be someone you consider to be better than you?
Ask the question
I
again.
like this.
Okay.
Listen.
Did you hear the question?
Say the question again, Brother Brew.
Do you want the man that you choose to be the father, your children, the husband, the man or your who's with you in life? Do you want that man to be someone that you see as better than you?
I don't know. Can I opt out?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The person that I am with now
It's better than you.
listen.
He's not better than you.
Listen.
It's okay, babe. We can move on.
Before getting into this relationship, I always felt that I was greater and better than whoever it is that I was with.
He's Jamaican, right?
That's besides the point.
Okay.
Hold on. This is interesting thing. So let me.
And I was told, based off like, you know, my ex-husband and so forth, you know, issues that we've had. And, you know, counseling was offered and I opted out of counseling because I was like, nah.
I don't need it.
I don't need you. Yes, ma'am.
So let me repeat what I heard. Let me repeat back to you what I thought I heard you say. Every man that you've been in a relationship with, you always saw yourself as better than him.
Correct.
Okay.
But now that I'm in this relationship,
Yes.
in the beginning, I was, you know, I carried basically the same trait that I did carry previously. But also being from two different households, we grew up differently. So I also think that's very important. He did grow up in a household with both parents, and they're totally different. They were arranged. So they rock through it, they this, they that, they don't really argue. So being in a relationship with him, Sachin doesn't argue. And we don't argue in front of the children. If we have a disagreement or something, he speaks about it. You know, he is, I think he's an amazing father.
So
You know?
so let me hold on. So what you're saying is that the man that you're currently in a relationship with, he grew up in a two-parent household,
He did.
and he is equipped with the qualities that you see are comparable or worthy for you to be in a relationship with him.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's talk commitment.
Hey, nobody else can answer that question?
Oh, is that another question? I wanted to hit something.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's pointless. No.
No,
I want to hear somebody. I want to hear another take on
So
that.
it was just a song that popped up in my head, you know, because when he asked her, he was like, "Oh, do you think your man's better than you or whatever?" So you know the song by Fabulous, "I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together." That is my
I hate
relationship
that song,
thing.
'cause
That's
you
my
got-
relationship thing, okay? Because I don't care I don't mind if he's better than me, because there are some things that I know that I excel in. So it's like we balance each other. So I do want my man to be able to teach me so we can grow and keep learning. There's no cap on our relationship.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the same question, but I'm gonna reframe the question. Does a man who you see as someone who is not better than you turn you on?
Absolutely not.
That's a good refrain. That's a great refrain. That's a great refrain.
What? Yes.
But that's the point.
You said yes? She said yes.
Come on now, that's not true.
Nah, she ain't lying.
Does a man?
I see fine women all the time, and then when they open their mouths, they are not as fine as they were. Okay?
Damn it, no.
And the same thing applies to you all. Y'all will be fine visually, and I am turned on by you, but then as soon as we start to conversate, I'm no longer turned on.
Exactly.
So yes, you're definitely turned on by something that you visually may see attractive, but there's layers to everything.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Yes. Chemistry.
Let me fine tune. Have you ever been turned on by a man that you don't think is better than you?
What does that even mean?
That's hold on.
Yes, because if I'm looking at him and let's say he's not G'd up right now. Let's say he has on his work clothes or he's just looking what kind of way, because we're superficial. We're Americans. Come on, we're being yes, we all are looking visually and making some type of judgment. So I just feel like we're making judgments or we're making calls when we're without knowing so many layers or something. So
That's kind of the point I was looking to get to, is that
You're right. We do have to call them.
we do.
right? So
I'm looking at somebody, I'm looking at their shoes, and I see a guy, I want to see him smile. Like, there's certain things that we individually look for if we're being
attracted to.
Yes.
Chemistry.
Yes.
right.
What they got to do with being better than you? That's what I
It
understand.
has nothing to do with
And that's
that.
like that. I think that's the disconnect. Is like, first of all, a man ain't better than a woman ain't better than a man.
Exactly.
We literally need each other. We
Agree.
literally need
Agree.
better and balance are not this, they don't exist at the same time with each other.
They can. That's why there's marriage.
Right.
No, marriage is just balance.
Certain things, people, your partner
It's
can
how
be
do women
way
need
better
men
than you.
and
Yeah, but they're not better than you. They better at some things.
Okay.
That's what balance
Well,
is.
semantics, but you know,
No, it's not even semantics. Better means supreme at you than you.
Right.
That means better.
But to me, that
If I'm better at changing the tire and you better at cleaning the house, and it can be man or woman, whatever the case may be, that doesn't mean that I'm better than you.
of course not. Of
But
course
how
not.
empowering
I get
is
the
that
gist
for me
of
to
the
say that
question.
to my man that I think that you're better than me?
But
How empowering is
But
that?
the thing is, women do that though. They just don't know they're doing it. So if you ask a single woman who's been single for a long time, you ask them to make a list of things that they want in a man, they'll list a bunch of things that they are not.
I just had this conversation with my friend the other day.
And that's a psychological thing, saying that I want somebody to save me from this.
Correct.
Which means that
want you to
I
be
think
better
that you're
than me
better
at
than
these
me.
things.
Correct, because I'm weak in these areas.
Right. So the thing is,
That's the compliment.
that's not how balance works though. That it's not what you think you want, it's what you actually need.
You can set a
Goodwin?
you can set standards.
I'm so confused. How do women need men again? I'm sorry.
How do
We need each other.
women need men?
Yeah.
You saying that we don't?
We need each other.
Why do we need y'all?
Because if I'm not here, then we can't procreate and we don't continue.
So this is the
So
thing.
so
Let's
so
look at
so
it.
But you
women,
need me to procreate though.
yeah. So no, womenkind and
You're not
mankind need
created
each
for
other.
me.
Yeah, it's
I
a
was
mutual
created
need.
for
It's a
you
mutual
because
need.
You need a woman.
No, but look,
Not the other way around, but-
listen to what you're saying though. I'm literally saying that I
Yeah,
need
you way off.
I'm literally saying that I need you, and you saying, well, I don't need
No,
you.
no.
That's the disconnect.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That's the problem.
How do we need you?
We need
Okay,
each other.
Okay, hold on.
You're not explaining
I
how.
got it.
Okay,
According to what you shared, according to your question, according to the statement you made, you were created for him, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how you need him.
I don't need him.
Hold on, you asked a question, I'm answering the question. You said, how is it that women need men? You also said that women were created for man, right? Woman was created for man. You did say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So how woman needs a man is she needs him because she was created for him. So that doesn't make sense? Your purpose was for him. So if he's not there,
was there because you needed you were lonely, so God created you because you were lonely. Like,
so what's your purpose? So what's your purpose?
My purpose is to just exist.
It sounds like companionship. God made you for someone else.
I hear a
You're made to
contradiction.
be someone's companion.
Give me a second. No, I said I hear one. Let me so we can dig into it a little bit. So you're saying that even though God created woman for man, you're not created for man. You're just created to be.
Yeah, just exist.
That's a contradiction.
That's a contradiction. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Is you dead serious. That's what's sad about that.
So this is the thing. You take 10 men and you have 25 women. You can populate the world. You take 10 women and no man, you got 10 graves.
But we created you though.
You got 10 graves if you only have 10 women. Right? But if you have 10 men and 25 women, you can populate the world.
I mean,
because we need each other to grow.
The man
you
built a
can't do
house
it by yourself.
The man built a house, the woman turned it to a home. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a yin yang. Our perspective on the world, and the way we go about things. Then we need your soft touch, and then y'all need us where we're rigid and stuck in a certain thing. You know, and it comes together and it works together. You know what I'm saying? You need our firm hug just like we need your softness and your warmth. You know what I'm saying? You
need a hug, Louis.
You ever cried?
Yeah, you need it.
Have you ever cried? So when you cry, who do you look to comfort?
Nobody.
Nobody?
I cry it out.
Cold and cry on your own. You have children?
No.
No children? So are you alone?
No.
Yeah.
You're not alone?
Married.
You married? You married to a woman? So I don't understand why you feel like you don't need a man.
She got a ring on.
He married me because he wanted to marry me. Not because I needed him.
Why did you say yes, though, is the question?
I wanted to.
Can I ask a
So
question?
you wanted a man?
No, I just wanted to get married.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a
Maybe
question?
it's not meant
Why does it offend you for you to say that I need a man? Why does that offend you?
Because I don't see how we have this big responsibility to need another person. Yeah, you there. It's nice to have you around, but I don't need you to survive.
No, but you. Yeah, I'm literally asking, like, why does it offend you?
I'm not offended.
You look offended.
I just want you guys to be honest.
Who paid the roads? Who ran the plumbing? Who ran the electric? You know what I'm saying? Who went out hunting and got the food? Who like?
That's
what are you
your
talking
job.
about? You need those things. Do you use electricity every day?
But you need.
Do you use paved roads every day?
But you don't need.
Do you live in a home? Do you live in a home with a roof and 4 walls?
Yeah.
You need a man.
Hold on, wait a minute.
You need a man.
If that's his job.
If you were not around, I'll probably figure it out.
Oh, God. I guess you want to work on the roof. I guess you want to work on the roof.
We both have able-bodied brains, like full capacity brains.
But you can't do what I
Figure
do.
it out.
But you can't do what I do. And I can't do everything you can do.
How?
I deliver
What can you
propane.
do that
I
women
deliver
can't
propane. I deliver propane 5 days a week. You cannot do that.
How you know that?
Because it's heavy. I lift thousands of pounds every day.
There's plenty of women's body builders.
I don't want to do that. I want him to do that. I'm not going to do. I have a man to do that for me. God gave me that man for him to do those things for me.
Hey, I need a man to do that for me.
I just don't know.
I'm taking out the trash.
I'm not
fixing stuff around the house.
Who built the 18 wheelers? Who built the factories where your beautiful clothes come from? Men did that.
Factories have both men and women working.
I say who built the factories. I say who work in it. I say who built it.
I don't think we're gonna I don't think we're gonna chip that on.
Yeah, you need Jesus. Are you Christian? Okay.
All right, now I want to go on the record. Jason.
You know a lot of Haitians are Christians.
Jason told somebody that they need Jesus. Okay, that within itself. That within itself.
Hey, well, all of us need each other except for Louis. We all need each other.
There's people and then
That's crazy. You got a man that don't need him. Man,
he's lucky to have me.
So you will hunt for your
I can tell.
One mic. Go ahead, Miss Lisa.
I don't understand what you're saying, but I'd like to know what it means when you say you were created to exist. What does that mean? What are you doing to exist? What does that mean?
I'm just there.
You're just there. What does
Living
that
my
mean?
best life.
What does that mean?
Getting an education, work, just living.
So if he brought another woman in that house, you'll be okay with that?
No, I'll kill him.
You don't need him. He needs something.
Yeah, this is so confusing. Couldn't care less about him, but if he do the wrong thing, now he yours all of a sudden.
Don't respect me either.
You don't believe that, man. You don't believe this what they're saying.
It is. Ooh.
No, nobody gets married and they don't need the person they married. That's a terrible waste of time.
Oh, you know, financial situation, financial stability. Is that what it's
All
about?
women should have financial stability from their partner.
Oh, this is great.
From their partner. So that's what you're in that relationship for.
All women.
He
need
know
that.
this?
All women need that.
Oh shit.
Oh, so he need a man.
Hanging out.
All women
Okay, so
need
we're
somebody who have financial stability.
we're here, so let's stay here. What
That was good, Louis.
according to your way of being in this world, and Luke, you've already kind of addressed this. So, what is a woman's primary responsibility as you see it? Hold on, guys.
Good question.
What is a woman's primary responsibility in this world, Eddie?
That's a really good question. I think that a lot of the answers that you look for can be seen like real simply just in the male and female anatomy.
In the background, please.
Because the man is physically created to give and the woman is physically created to receive. So whatever the man gives, the woman takes it and multiplies it, right? He gives her a house, she makes it a home. You know, he gives her a seed, she makes it a human being. So the woman's responsibility is to receive and then to multiply and give back.
I agree.
High five.
I agree. She said everything I was saying.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
that one person would be your therapist.
I agree. Yes.
The therapy classes are working, guys.
I got that.
They're
from the
working.
Genesis.
I also feel like that we should really strive to remain in our femininity. And I mean that, I mean being soft
Yes.
and nurturing
Yeah.
and teaching. I think that is always and will forever be our power. And that when we really want to be heard, to be quiet.
Yes. Book of Genesis.
There's a thing that I'm really interested in, and it's called soft power.
Yes.
And it's a way of being powerful
Yes.
that does not become masculine.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men receive that.
They do. They like it.
So these things that these ladies are talking about is in the book of Genesis. Being feminine is of God. Being a feminist is against God. So everything they're saying is in the book of Genesis. It's all there. She said it perfectly. It's all there. Both of them.
She been reading.
Amen.
Ludwig?
She didn't say she was a Christian, so it doesn't matter. It's still beautiful.
Now I was there rebut this. It's gonna be good.
So
What is your job?
Exist. She's just here to
exist and be beautiful.
She's answered that. That's why I went ahead and went down.
I love
So.
it.
She's controversial.
But
you have to know the way to understand where she's going.
Okay, so ladies, based upon your definition of success, give me like 2 or 3 attributes that you admire most when seeing in a man.
I admire a man who has matured enough to know the difference between how to lead and versus how to control.
Right.
Ooh.
A man who knows how to lead doesn't have to control anything. He comes home, everyone submits.
Correct.
The wife submits, the kids, daddy's home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody submits. And he doesn't have to yell. He doesn't have to shout. He doesn't have to threaten. His very presence.
Cause him to be catered to.
Yeah.
The house is calm.
Amen.
It's not demands.
Amen.
I love that.
Yes.
Preach.
Yeah. I agree. I agree too.
Yeah.
Let me get anyone want
What's that?
another comment, ladies? Any more
As
attributes?
soon as daddy gets home,
Yes.
I carry them around. I cook, I do everything, and I still work. But as soon as daddy gets home, even the little one that you just asked about, she just, daddy!
Yes. It's a different kind of.
It's
his
that
presence.
still
It's his
water.
era.
It
Yes.
runs deep.
It's his leadership.
Yes.
It's his
It's that
leadership.
still water.
Yes.
It's calm.
I need that, man. I don't know about nobody else, but I need a woman, and in turn that woman needs me to be who I need to be.
The question was, based upon your definition of success, what attributes that you admire seeing in a man
Patience.
that you would consider successful man? Patience.
Patience.
Love, kindness.
Yeah, there's the good things.
Yeah.
Money.
Attribute.
Money management.
Money's
Not
Yes,
just
money
money, but money
management.
management.
Yes.
Okay,
He handles his
because you can
resources
take very
wisely.
little and make great out of it if you.
Oh yes.
But I don't want very little.
I like men that worship women.
No, I would never.
I don't disagree with that. I was saying nothing wrong with that
I get where she's
statement.
coming from.
Because in turn, I'm going to worship you. So it's a give and take.
I don't think that's what you was going with that.
You're not gonna worship him, but he needs to worship you.
Yeah.
Not inside.
But you're not gonna worship him.
No.
We need to bring your husband on the
power.
No, in my opinion, men who put women on a pedestal, their life tends to go a lot smoother because that allows God to be more blessing
In the R&B song, maybe that's good.
and more blessing come into your life because you understand the value of women and what they bring into your life.
Well,
I know what she means
what
by
happens
saying
when they
pedestal.
worship
Just
the wrong
reverence.
person?
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
But how do you know what their mental state is if that's what if that's all they're doing is putting them on a pedestal? What about him? What about his mental state? What about when he has
That's
a
for him to
family?
figure out.
She just trolling, man. She's trolling. She's trolling.
I'm not responsible for your mental health. That's a personal
Do you have
decision.
kids?
No.
So, and I think a child, I think when she has a baby, and it's a little baby boy,
Yeah, I'm telling you,
When? She not gonna be having a kid.
Get to that one, bro. Because you know what? That little boy is gonna put you. He is gonna put you on a pedestal. But wait until he meets somebody else. Wait until he meets this person that he wants to be his wife.
That's fine.
He gonna be ruined for that
No,
woman,
but
man. I'm gonna be honest.
he will. But do you want the woman that he needs to just treat him like he's beneath him?
Wait. How does a woman being worshipped treats
There's
the
nothing.
man?
I'm not okay. So I'm not saying there's nothing wrong
it's
with
not
the
a man treating a
worshiping
woman.
the
It's not how the man treats the woman that says that he's beneath her. It's how she treats him that says that she thinks that he's beneath her.
If you want
to agree, disagree.
I disagree with that.
Can you speak? Can you say more?
In my opinion, like, if I find a man that does what he needs to do to make me happy, to always think about my well-being, I in turn should do the same. Because I'm also a human being, I'm not going to treat you like crap. But for the women who do, they will receive bad luck for that. Karma is a real thing. So if you treat somebody bad, you won't get karma bad as well. So I still want the men to understand, like, me being your life is a blessing, and you should take that highly and put me up there.
Okay.
Like, I don't come before nobody else.
Okay. So now. Wait.
Yeah, you mean you want to be before everyone else? Yeah.
Okay, so now, who in that man's life provides him with the reciprocal energy?
So will he be first in your life? If you got to be first in his?
I think she comes.
Wait. Give her a moment.
That's a no.
I'm first.
Okay. Okay. No, wait. I like this. Okay, so here we go, ladies. Let's say we're gonna go with God, your man, your children, you. What order do they? In what order are they a priority in your life?
God,
God,
man,
my
children, myself.
In that order?
There you go. There you
It's
go.
gonna be God, him, me, and then my children. Because if I'm not good, my children ain't gonna be good. So I gotta be good first.
There you go.
And if he not good, I'm not gonna be good. So he gotta be first.
I kind of keep my children and myself together though, so that's why I kind of struggle with that because I don't make any decisions without thinking of my daughter.
Right.
I just don't. How is that going to impact her?
Louis?
I don't know. I say God. We work as a unit, so I can't say, you know, I put this one. I mean, God comes before everything else, but as far as us is concerned, this matter, like, he doesn't make a decision unless it's a decision that's going to benefit and provide for all of us, mentally and physically. You know, granted, like, he'll make certain decisions, and because we have children, he thinks more so. Before he thinks about me, he's going to be like, okay, what about the girls? Like, buying a house, the girls, like the school, the influence, what's going to happen around them. And stuff
I say that he comes first because if something happens, if there's an emergency, I'm going to have to be the one to stay home with the children while he goes out. So I need him to always be at his maximum potential. I need him to be that way. Because when adversity strikes, I'm the one that's going to have to cover the children while he goes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Can a man always be at his maximum potential?
Huh?
No one can.
No one can. No one can.
That's kind of a burden that men wear today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's why you
saying?
need to partner
But when you come home, that's where the softness comes in.
Right.
You're not going to go out there and fight the world and then come home and fight me.
Because-
I'm your resting place.
Because people got to realize, like, as far as when it comes to kids, your kids will grow and have families of their own. You have to always keep that in mind.
Right.
So if your kids become paramount over your partner who you chose for life, theoretically, then once those children go have families of their own,
That's right.
y'all have to nurture each other.
That's right.
So like
I had a friend who said, I'm going to be in this, the kids are going to get grown, and I'm going to look over to my partner and not even know who he is.
Right.
which is what happens.
In the something for something relationship.
Transaction.
And we make sure, and we does I apologize. Yes, ma'am. I thought you just want to answer the question. Okay.
So to me and God are synonymous, so we're at the same level. So and then if I were to have children, my children, and then my mate.
And then your man.
Is last.
So
Why you last?
she's been saying that all day. She
What have you been?
She changed up.
But she
No,
just
I'm
don't
asking
need
her. You don't like men?
I do.
You're not looking like
Okay. Believe
this
it
is
or
the
not.
Taylor Cell level of men.
I don't want that.
We need your
I
husband on
just
the
feel like
panel.
y'all should worship us. That's it.
What is that?
She's saying that she doesn't need men, and that she feels that we should worship her. That's it.
Women.
Not just her, that'd be selfish.
And there's no reciprocity. She does not need to worship her man, but the man needs to worship her.
Yes.
Yes.
And good luck, man. They might be out there for you.
I mean, it doesn't
Yeah,
work. But it doesn't work
Y'all
like
said she's
that.
married, like that's the end of their life.
Yeah,
bro.
like-
they gotta live together. So, I mean,
Not for
yeah,
long.
just
No, that's the highlight of it. She's
But-
married.
But the thing
marriage is
is,
a highlight of life. But look, it's more to life than just marriage.
One night.
It's the thing you do along the
We're talking
way.
about
the
relationships.
thing is, to
Go
me
ahead,
though,
I want to be.
the thing that I noticed, and I'm sure every man in here has noticed, like when you doing your thing and you in your being, like you just get reverence from women. You don't have to ask for it. So
Right.
I don't know what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not even a concept to me. You know, I don't know what it feels like to not be revered by a woman that's in my presence and involved, connected to me in that way.
Right.
So I don't even understand. Like I don't even understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because it's funny, but the reality is, if you respect to be revered and have no reciprocation order, then that's crazy talk. Because ain't no human being with blood running through his bones gonna just worship you without any reverence in return. That's just not how that works. So like it sounds
Yeah,
funny.
and if you leave that void though, man, I mean, it'll
Nah,
get filled. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You just don't really know how that's gonna go.
Well, see, yeah, because I'm hearing us frame things. I'm hearing us add things that I didn't hear her say.
Right, from the outside.
Now I heard what she said,
Yeah.
but I hear us adding some things that she didn't say. But
Correct.
so some.
How do you not like worship or revere your man? Like, is that a conscious decision?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we miss any of that part?
No.
Okay.
No. I just said we. I'm not saying we missing something. I'm saying we adding
You
something.
don't feel compelled by his presence?
Ask a personal question, but I don't mean anything by it.
Huh?
How long have you been married?
Since 2016.
2016.
2016? Okay, how long were you guys together before that?
About a year.
Okay.
You black?
Yes.
That was wild.
I'm pretty sure we all thought it.
I assume you was Haitian.
I thought either Haitian or Black American.
I know Haitian. Y'all stick together.
Okay.
You're both of you from Haiti?
Yes.
Okay, I can see.
Haitians stick together. Man.
Okay,
I found
so-
that
You
out.
need paperwork.
Is there?
And lean like American.
Bringing it back. Is the something for something relationship? Does the something for something relationship make room for the presence of true love?
No, absolutely not.
Huh? Wait.
Does the something for something relationship
A
make
transactional,
room for true love?
a transactional relationship.
Nah.
You give me something, I give you something.
Is that love?
Is that
Is
love?
that love?
No, it's business.
That's
Yeah.
business.
It's
Financial.
Those are
stability.
transactions.
Those are transactions.
Yeah.
You do that with your bank.
Correct.
Yeah.
You do not do that with
So
Some people do it, just not love.
Clients.
yeah. They think that, I mean, even before therapy, my
That ends
perception
up being
of
a problem
love was so
later on.
out of whack,
Skewed.
so skewed. Yes, that's
what is
a good
what is
word.
how would you define love?
I would.
I wouldn't. Right, I wouldn't.
Love is. I don't think love can really be explained with words, but rather maybe consistency
It's an action.
of action, like just consistently doing and being and loving constantly. I don't think that love makes things. It's not perfect just because love is there. That's what I'm trying to say. But I do think that the presence of love makes things easier to get through.
For me, love is doing things when you don't feel like doing it.
Yes.
Them headaches, I hate them.
Discipline.
The man said, headaches, I hate them.
But you do things really too.
Exactly.
Because you love, you work through that feeling
Yes.
of, okay, I don't want to do
That's
this, but
right.
you know what, wait a minute, I'm going to do
To do
this
it.
because
That's right.
this is my man, this is my
Yeah.
family, This is the position that I've been put in.
Can you love your partner even when you don't like your partner?
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's the majority of it.
I don't like you no more. I know.
I won't say the majority. I won't say that.
I'm not easy. No, I know I'm not easy. Keisha, how would you define love?
No, like I agree with what the ladies were saying. Just to sum it up, love it's unconditional, it's kind. It doesn't, boast. So it's not like, oh, I'm better than you and blah 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 blah. It's love. The person is how they are on the outside, and they're the same on the inside, and that exudes. So it's everything they said. It's just being unconditional. And then Eddie made the statement, like, even when you don't like your partner, you still have to be able to choose that you love that person. Yes. And
So love is a choice.
It is. It's a choice. It's an action, and you choose to be happy and love that person. If life isn't perfect, people aren't perfect, we all have our triggers, but if you are mature enough, you know that you're not fighting each other. You have to, for me, like in the Christian world, we would call that, it's a spiritual warfare. So we know that. So like if me and my boo, we're like, going.
Christians got boobs?
Listen, you gotta know someone in order to. But we have boundaries.
So you got a man.
So I put myself I'm dating. We're
okay.
Getting things.
You have somebody you're getting to know.
I don't know if it's like courtship just yet. I think it's because we just
hanging out.
Yeah, we're hanging out.
Y'all getting to know each other.
Yeah, because you got to discuss. Don't you have to discuss courtship? Like,
Yeah.
You gotta say exclusive.
Ain't no rules.
He's supposed to go to your daddy.
That's absolutely
Ain't no rules.
Yeah, he can call him. My dad's in Alabama.
Ain't no rules. Y'all make it how y'all want it.
It's in between boo and block right now.
That's relationships.
Right,
I think
yeah,
you can
boo
make
and block.
it boo
No
and block.
kidding. Just
You don't have to go by like a standard.
Okay, so no, back to love. You said it's unconditional.
Yeah, it's just like, when
Your definition
when you're
is?
bickering and fighting, bumping heads, you can't take. Well, he left the lid on the thing. You can't let that be the issue. You have to understand, like, yo, babe, this is stupid. Like,
Right. At least go to bed happy.
Yeah,
Go to bed saying, I love
in the
you.
Christian
Go to
world,
bed
we call it
smile.
a spiritual warfare. So it's not. We say it's nothing but the enemy. That you just open the door and you're letting the enemy walk in because of the potential. Because God is all for marriage. He wants the woman and the man to be married. He's all for it. So like for us, we just. I totally lost my sidetrack.
How many? Was it Abraham? How many wives Abraham?
That's different.
Oh, okay.
200 wives.
Why is that?
Wait. Why is that?
200 wives.
I want to get into this a lot of life things.
Well, I think his I think his wife died or something like
So
that.
you got to get more than one.
Let's get back on track. Back on track.
So even
Let's not get into polygamy,
nobody
please.
knows that Moses
That's
got
not
2
too
wives,
easy.
but God gave
Oh,
him
God.
And there's like 5 women to 1 man.
That's all.
Hey, let her talk. Let this lady talk.
Oh, God.
That is not legal in America.
Okay.
Oh, God.
All right.
Yeah, cigarettes are though.
Or in the Christian world, that is not legal.
Yeah.
Ludwin, love.
This should be good.
What is love?
What is love? Love for one is an emotion that you feel. And secondly, is also a choice that I'm choosing to love this person every day, even when I don't like what they do sometimes, even when I'm angry at them, because that feeling goes away. But however, I do know for sure, if I choose this person, then that means I'm choosing to treat them with kindness, choosing to
Be vulnerable.
consider them. I don't know about that.
Don't give her words.
She definitely not looking for that word.
And I'm choosing to keep him around every day.
Listen. Okay, so is it fair to say, and this is for the ladies here at the table, is it fair to say that women are more loyal to their feelings than they are to the person that they're in a relationship with?
Yes.
100%.
Hold on.
Well, no, 9.
Keisha, are women more loyal to their feelings than they are to the person that they're in a relationship with?
I would say yes. I had to think of a situation.
Sherry?
But don't rest in your feelings.
That's it.
Yeah, don't rest in it.
That's it.
I think that innately, because of how we created, that yes, that's going to be affirmative.
Eddie, you agree?
Of course.
Ludwig?
We're hormonal.
Yes, emotional.
We're hormonal. We literally cannot help it.
You see that?
I think we're more loyal to the principle than anything else.
The principle of
The
the situation?
Sometimes y'all principles is based on delusion.
Oh gosh.
Well, yeah.
So, okay, so now for you ladies who did say yes, the follow-up question. If women are more loyal to their feelings than they are the person that they're in a relationship with, and we know feelings come and go, is it also fair to say that the consistency that is in the attractiveness of consistency in a man is something that this concept also says that we cannot experience with you?
I get the question.
You get the question?
Yes, because when a man comes into our space and he is consistent, we feel secure.
Right.
And the feeling of being secure is what we are loyal to, not really him. The man cannot expect to feel secure with us, because as soon as we don't like him, we no longer love him.
Correct.
And that's not true for all of us, but for those of us that are unevolved, it's very true. It's somewhere you gotta go in order to see that man for what he is and not just what he provides.
So you're talking about the transactional work instead.
So that being said,
school.
How?
Yes, I'm going to be a therapist.
I went to therapy.
But you know, we're telling y'all that though.
Hold on.
The person with the degree, y'all listen to them.
That being said, how? What do you? Okay, I'm gonna try this better this way. What do you think it means to a man to know that the woman he's with needs him to be who she needs him to be, so that he can provide her with the level of security?
Say that again.
The woman needs the man to be who she needs him to be to provide her with a level of security that makes her feel safe and secure, while simultaneously she's not going to do the same thing in return. Because if things are going to change when she's when her emotions change, there's what's the word? There's inconsistency.
Yeah.
There's an inconsistency that's in the energy in terms of what he's dealing with from his perspective. So what I'm asking you is, if you were to put yourself in the man's shoes, what do you think that looks like to a man?
I'm gonna go cheap.
I was just gonna say you would probably.
But men are going to cheat. Period.
It's
Hey, wait a minute.
They're created to reproduce the earth. That is something, yes, they have to choose to not do that, okay? But that is, come on now, but most of them, okay, are going to go get it. So that does not change the fact that they love you or are loyal to you or committed to you. They are going to go get it. Now, when you said about security, a man can only provide security to me if he is secure himself. Right. I am not asking him to do anything that he is not doing for himself. He should have his own place. He should have his own car. He should have his own money, and I am an asset to those things. Yeah. So he must be secure for himself first and foremost. So if I am to leave, his world's not shook up.
Okay, now wait. I got to follow up. Like that. So if he has to, give me a second. If he has to provide security for himself, then why are women wanting him also to provide security for her?
I didn't say that. I did.
No. I just say it, but this is the thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
This is the thing.
His security for himself gives me security, because if he loves me enough and says, I want you to come to my house, I want you to live with me. I don't want you to worry about anything that I was already responsible for before you got here. Okay?
Hold on.
So therefore, you're here to what? Support me, nurture me, love me, encourage me, give me a soft body to come home, be my refuge. That is what I am there for. So therefore, his security, okay, is there.
It's
me, but because he is a man, he's secure. He doesn't have to provide anything to me that he does not already possess.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Now, hold on. Put a pin in that. Because on the flip side, because we have decided, or we've agreed collectively that women are emotional, right? So their security comes from an emotional thing that I can't provide security to your emotions.
Correct.
So in the same way that I have to come already healed, as they say on the internet, you have to also come with maturity in your emotion, your emotional maturity.
Correct. Emotional.
So everything you said is 100% correct.
That's our version of financial stability.
Yeah, just don't be crazy all the time.
Right. A little bit crazy. I like it. I encourage it.
I want to grab your wrist sometimes, like no, and then we do stuff. But every day, I gotta get a word out here. All the time.
That's great. I agree. I'm in complete agreement.
Okay, now this is I'm gonna dig a little bit. So and you don't have to be revealing with this question, but have you ever cheated on a man?
No, they can be honest. It was years ago, right, ladies?
It's not. I'm not talking about a current situation. You never cheated on a man.
Hey, like define cheating. Define cheating.
No, we don't cheat. We don't cheat. Don't give it no loophole. You don't
cheat. Eddie said no. Sherka said yes. Keisha?
It depends.
That's the question. I'll take that as a
She went to Bible study with somebody else. It's not what y'all talking about.
Just things were going. I knew we were coming to an end, and there was another gentleman that was giving me
a gentleman.
It was the beginning of my journey.
She been cheating.
He's giving me a
that's weird. That's the storyline.
Oh,
yeah, we're
emotional
support.
Yeah.
She started talking on the phone.
Okay.
And
No. What happened after you and the guy separated?
after me and the guy separated,
You went to the guy you was on the phone with?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I started my healing journey.
Okay.
So yes.
That's cheating, though. That's cheating, though.
What would Jesus do?
It's like level one
What would
cheating.
Jesus do?
Ludwig? No.
We good.
No. You done had a lot to say. Have you ever cheated?
I wouldn't call it cheating.
What would you call it? What would you call it?
But were you in a relationship though? Was it coming to an end?
Why are you helping her out? Give me a second. Give me a second.
Was he mean to you? Because if he was,
Hold on. We and I would love to invite you to be back on the panel when we do this next topic. We have a concept here we call the pink wall of silence, and it's when a woman sees another woman in a certain situation that she'll jump in
And protect her.
and provide a level of protection. And give me a
Without any
second.
facts.
Give me a second. So no. When you began to reframe my question, because my question was really pretty simple.
Did you cheat?
When you came in and started adding all these caveats to the question, you were giving her a way out, and you were protecting her. And I don't have a problem with women protecting each other, but when I see it, I gotta say something. Because sometimes not that this is the time. Sometimes y'all protect each other in some bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so when men look at that, because remember the topic is what does it mean to be a man? When we're looking at stuff, what we see is, man,
Red flag. That's a red flag.
who am I
Who's my partner?
preparing myself to attach myself to? Right? So all right, wait a minute. I'm coming back to that. Let me get an answer to this question. You said you wouldn't call it cheating. What would you call it?
I was calling it moving on.
Moving on. You was calling it moving on. Okay.
That's how she is all the time.
Okay. All right. So now, so coming back around here. There's a
It's a fine line.
Have you ever cheated?
Yes.
Okay.
She just told us.
No. When she started providing caveats for
You
the
understood.
new one to answer the
You
question,
understood.
We knew you already.
and I could be wrong for this, but what I heard her was doing was speaking for herself.
Vicarious.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Projecting. She was projecting.
Right. So
Yeah, I did it like this.
So,
like, if you wasn't happy, I mean, it ain't really cheating because
No, she said you were moving on.
No, that's cheating.
okay.
Yeah, it is.
Cheating,
Okay.
cheating.
Was he aware that you were moving on?
Right, I was like, so you had to.
Well,
Yeah, that's what makes it
that's
cheating.
a good one.
Yes.
If he was aware of that,
No,
then
no.
it's not cheating.
Yeah.
I got a question.
No, but see,
If he
it
say
was-
it's over
Moving on.
and you move on too
you don't take
quickly,
it as
that's
over.
not cheating, right?
No, he
Because
said it was
it's
over.
He said it was
Is
over.
that a pattern with
But
y'all?
then he comes back.
Is that a
What?
pattern? Y'all
What
get,
that mean?
Y'all break up to get back together?
Well, you know, women keep that spare. What y'all be saying? Keep
So-
that spare.
So-
So you
No, but that's
know.
why
We
there's
do.
a difference. Like, you know, sometimes like, oh, I'm done
We
with
do,
it.
I'm just
But
saying.
then there's
Ain't talking
always
about
that
you.
moment that you know that that
It
person
is.
come and said, "Look, I'm done with it." It's even though you guys probably had that little mix up here and there, you know, a little sprinkle. But then this one time,
You talking about going back for another text to make sure I really want to leave.
But then there's a time when they're saying like, you know, it's done and over with, and then it's really, and you take it, say it's done and over with, and then you go step out. So when you step out now, all of a sudden you don't cheat on me.
Listen. That actually gets stronger and stronger, didn't it?
Yeah, experience.
What about go some more?
Calm down.
Nigga, like, you cheat.
I don't know who he was, but
You felt like you cheated on him?
No. She did.
Cause you was like, then you cheated.
She said she cheated
So
before.
did you
Well,
feel
no,
like
but
you
she
cheated?
said
They was broken up. They was broken up.
Listen,
So I don't
he
know.
said, we're not doing this anymore. It's done and over.
Yes.
And then I cried. I said boo hoo, baha. You know
That's how
what
you'll
I'm
get
saying?
back. Well,
And then
How long
I
did
said,
you wait?
okay,
How long
but
did you
just
wait?
wait now.
Just wait now.
It just so happened.
You threw that ass back.
No.
Oh.
It just so happened that I was asked to do something, and I went ahead and did it. You know, I ended up leaving my fiance. I have now today.
you said, well, you step outside for the pound time.
You was vulnerable. You was
You
vulnerable.
still cheated though.
I wasn't vulnerable because
But
you
she
know
said
I
she
never
cheated.
step up to the man.
Oh,
The man
so
step
she
up to me.
Oh.
so wait a minute.
No, it don't matter. It takes two to tango.
Pause. So what you?
But
Hold
when
on.
it ended up, what made me feel guilty afterwards, because we didn't, when I met Sachin, it was when Ricky and I were
Yeah.
apparently we weren't together, but I guess we were.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But once he found out that
I
I'm
understand
conversating
that.
with somebody,
I understand
me some this, I me some that. But the thing is, what made me feel guilty is because
You hurt his feelings.
I hurt his feelings. And that made me feel really, really, really bad. But bro, you hurt my feelings too.
Yeah, but
like,
we
no,
were on a
We
break.
smash it though.
We were on a
Why
break.
y'all there smash
I
it?
understand
No,
that.
you gotta be very clear.
Why y'all gotta
If you
smash
wanna-
We were on a
One
break.
night.
Listen,
One night.
that's not a break.
That
You
was
come into-
manipulation.
Yeah, that was
And-
his ego.
Okay, let me tell you
No,
something.
Hey, give me his heart.
Give me what you want.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
Men have hearts.
Yeah, when you break a woman's heart, it's her heart. It's not her ego.
Wait, how long
What
was
do
it?
you mean?
So
So it's not the other. It's not the other way.
What was
How
wrong?
long?
What were you trying to
You
get?
said it was very
It's
long.
all
I
good.
felt guilty.
Man, this is
Baby,
okay. Yeah. This is
You
neither
did
here nor there.
nothing
It's not a
wrong.
well, we know
You
women
did
cheat,
nothing
men don't.
wrong.
We know that.
You did nothing wrong.
You didn't
So.
cheat.
But she admitted that she has cheated before.
That's coming from
That's
a
not
place of
cheating.
guilt.
But
No, she mentioned other scenarios. She mentioned other scenarios.
That's
No,
not
you know
cheating.
what
Yeah, she did. She
situation
said
have you
it.
ever
Yeah,
cheated?
she mentioned multiple.
Okay, hold on.
She'll cheat it. It's
That's
a
not
pattern.
cheating.
Hey, once a cheater, always a
That's
cheater.
not cheating. That's not cheating. The man said we was over, and we was over.
That was that one
That's not
scenario.
cheating,
She
baby.
cheated before.
Y'all got it.
How we over and I pay your phone bill? We not over yet. My bill is still in crime.
Pay it off.
So I don't care who you meet. None of that. All is fair in love and oxtail, man.
I agree.
Ladies, is it true that a man is in competition when a man is pursuing a woman? Is it true that he is in competition with her childhood? Is the man in competition with the woman's
I
childhood?
think to an extent.
I think we all in competition.
How you know with the child?
You
Like,
okay?
if
So when I was in therapy, it was revealed to me that I was operating as my adult self from a traumatic experience when I was 8 years old. So the reason why I was having difficulty in relationships was because 8-year-old me was bullying adult me. So when I would meet a guy and I would like him, 8-year-old me would say, don't trust him. He's going to do that same thing that happened to you back when you were 8 years old. So yes, he can be, but it's up to each individual to go and do the work on themselves so that nobody has to be in competition with anybody.
But sometimes the work is revealed to you through your relationship.
Correct.
Every
That's what
And-
relationship is for.
Every time.
That's because
Well,
they haven't applied the work.
Is it also your partner's responsibility to help you fix that?
No.
Should you have grace if your partner says, hey, I can't deal with you while you're dealing with that? Because I shouldn't be responsible for fixing you because I did not break you.
Right.
Okay, so now
He can't fix
It's
you
not their
anyway.
calling.
Is that a question?
Right.
Yeah. Now, let's
I can work with you.
The purpose of relationship is the mirror. It's for you to see you. Right? Now, we don't have a problem looking in the mirror, our partner, and seeing all this good us. We don't have a problem seeing the good. Sometimes we even like the bad, because the bad can be fun. Right?
Yes?
Right? So we'll admit we're bad. But there's good, bad, and ugly. And the person that you're in a relationship there is for you to see you so that you can do the work that you need to do to be a better version of yourself. Right. And that within itself is a never-ending story.
Yes.
You're never going to be completely healthy. That's why sometimes when I hear people say stuff, you need to get right, you need to get healthy before you get in a relationship. What the hell are you talking about? Who gonna do that?
But Coach, also everybody has a threshold though. I was speaking with a man like 3 months ago where his problems just like I'm still, I don't have the capacity to take on somebody going through so much. And it doesn't mean that I don't care for him or don't love him, but I can't show up how he needs me to show up for him because I'm still needing to show up for myself.
And that's okay. That's okay, but that still doesn't change the fact that the mirror was in play. Right? You got to see you. You got to see that you
need help.
You got to see that you did not have the capacity. He got to see him. Right. He got to see that I need that I got this stuff that I need to work on. Yeah. Right. So the mirror still works.
Yes.
Right. And there's and now what we do with what we get when we see it. Right. Yeah. That's an individual journey.
Right.
Like because we talk about, we've been sitting here talking about it's common to say it's not my job to make you happy. Right? Happiness.
That's how he said it.
Happiness is an inside job, right?
Yeah.
So that's a true statement, but the reality is all this shit is an inside job.
Yeah. But I'll say this too about the mirror though, right? Yeah. So like, so like for you being their example of whatever they need to work on, right? And inverse, it's you too. Right. So like, just like. So maybe in just example because you gave an example. So maybe like you were there to show him, hey, you don't always need somebody to fix you. And then he was there to show you, hey, stop telling everybody, yeah, I can help you. You know? So like see your lesson in it. It could be the inverse, and that is the inverse. Somebody always looking for somebody who needs to help them. And then the other person constantly helping someone when you need to help yourself.
That's bars right there.
So the mirror works. You just gotta pay attention. And it is hard though, but
and therefore we say, so what did you learn?
Right.
Right. It's always the mirror. It's
always. You can't pick and choose.
You can't escape it. You can't run from it.
So Stevie Wonder helped all of us out a long time ago.
Yeah.
Some of us
in many ways. He said, lately I've been staring at the mirror, slowly picking myself apart. In other words, I got to fix me because I'm the only person I can fix.
Yep.
I can't fix you. That is not my job. Problematic is, a lot of guys who want that behind will lie to you and try to fool you that they can fix you just to get.
All right, don't give me game. That ain't
real. If they don't know that by now, then they'll never ever know.
That's not what we here for, man. To tell the game.
Oh, he don't want his good stuff. Well, I'm sorry because I bring the truth. Hey, you being real school. I'm being in here. I'm being in here. You gonna get used to me in a minute. So the truth of the matter is to enter into a relationship knowing that the best you can offer is love. When you pick yourself apart and truthfully examine yourself, then you begin to like yourself. And then you can like, see, love alone ain't gonna get this. You got to like the person. They're going to fart in your face. They're going to snore. They're going to do all kinds of things. You're like, oh my God. I didn't know she did that. Or he did that. But when you can move past the reality of being human, then you can begin to like that person, which then will cause you to love them even more. But love alone shall not do it. Not in this case.
Okay, so earlier, we were talking about love. Keisha, you used the word unconditional. Every time I get a word unconditional, I go into this thing. So, so let's say, for God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son. Right? Churches have used that to demonstrate or illustrate God's love.
Why He buried our sins.
Right. So now in that statement, in that passage, it talks about giving, it talks about sacrificing, it talks about a giving and a sacrifice that is done without a condition. Right? The concern I have is that we call it unconditional love, but really it's just love.
It's right? Because everybody got a threshold, like the lady said a few minutes ago.
But we have a threshold because we're socialized to have a threshold. Correct. We're not socialized to not have the threshold. We don't give. We can give. See, okay. So here's the thing: the grace that I have for myself, I tend to have for other people. Right? So the more grace I have for myself, the more I love myself, the more I love myself. And for the sake of this conversation, the more unconditional love I have for myself, it allows me to love people in that same space. Right? That's what I see as the work. When we say, when we talk about reciprocity, and sometimes I think that word is used incorrectly. I think reciprocity is an organic thing, and I don't think reciprocity is a thing that I'm necessarily supposed to get from a specific person. Meaning, for instance, I'm the caregiver for my mother. My mother's not always pleasant. My mother does not always make it seem like she appreciates anything that I'm doing for her, right? But I care for her, right? And I had to learn early that I was wrong to expect her to appreciate what I was doing for her simply because I was doing it for her.
Correct.
Right? So it's easy in a situation like that. We talk about a something situation, reciprocity words that comes up. Maybe I'm not supposed to get it from my mama.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe whatever gift or blessing I am providing, if it's a gift or blessing, because I don't get to decide that, right? Maybe I'm not supposed to get that back from the person I'm giving to. And I think where we get lost in relationship is we want the motherfucker we picked to do it for us, and maybe that's not their job.
That's the universe's job, not
That's
that
right.
person's job.
Right. Maybe it's not their job. So we get caught up in that. We want to say, well, that's why I can't be in a relationship with you.
Expectations.
Yeah. It's like the person that's always calling me and asking me for money. You think I can call that person and ask me for money?
Nope.
So it'd be foolish for me to expect that when I'm in a financial need for me to call that person who's always calling me for $50 to give me money, because I'm in that mindset like, oh, they owe me, they should have my back, but that's not it.
But in their defense, if they need the money and they ask you for it, they ain't got it.
No, that is the pattern of their always asking for money.
do
They don't have the mindset or the financial management to even be able to give me when I need. So
But that's okay. So now, so
think
what the mirror is showing, what the mirror could be showing, is because you use this word.
But I get
phrase
it,
a lot
but just
of
not
times,
for them.
Okay.
You said that's what I was saying. To say the reciprocity doesn't come from where we think it should come. I'm gonna get my blessing from helping that person or being there for that person, but it's not going to be from that person.
Right, because when you went to the bank and applied for the loan, you got it.
Right.
And maybe that was because
the universe.
Correct.
Right.
They respond.
But that's like reciprocity, or like the mirror in general. Always like I was talking to a friend of mine. I was telling her like that relationship's not gonna work because you won't work. And because when the mirror is saying, hey, this is what you got. If you don't like it, change it. It's not saying. And I'm arguing with my girl one day, and she was like, well, when I tell you something, you make a face. And I said, that got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
How I respond to something has nothing to do with you. How you respond to me has nothing to do with me, even if we talking to each other.
It's on you.
So that I cannot help or change. And in the terms of reciprocity is like a natural occurrence, and it's not necessarily give or take, because it's deeper than that. I always compare it to a bicycle. On a bicycle, if you pedal and you keep balance, you go forward. If you don't pedal but you keep balance, you fall. If you don't keep balance but you pedal, you fall.
You need it all.
Either way, it needs to work in unison, and nothing is better than the other part of it.
All equally necessary.
It's all equally necessary.
Yes.
And if you don't understand that, you never learn to ride a bike.
Or play music in a band.
Or be in a relationship.
Yeah, you never
Or you
see-
can do it, you'll just never be good at
Yeah,
it.
you
But
never
you
be good
never
at
see
it.
You just be
people in a
scraped up
marching
and
band
bruised up, hurt and
arguing, you know.
And it's like if you play an instrument and you're not good at it, you don't blame the person who listens to the instrument. You don't say, man, it's because you don't listen good. That's why I listen right.
If you listen, but I put it up. That's rich.
How do you know that you're attracted to the man, or you're attracted to your idea?
I get softer. My voice is soft, my mannerisms, I get like in my most feminine, but like if I don't like you, I get very masculine. And I want you to know that we're just friends, homie.
Right.
You know, that's it. But if I like you, I will naturally soften, and my voice will get softer, and I'm smiling, my mannerisms are soft.
Okay, now you're doing that for the man, or you're doing that for your idea?
It's like a thing that just takes over. It does.
I don't even think about it.
There's
it just happens with that particular person.
Yeah, there's this thing I would say like, oh, well, if not that I run over anyone, but what I say is if I meet a guy and I'm just like, oh, whatever, I don't care if you do it, like, don't care what we do, then I don't really like him. But if I'm just like, oh, okay, and I make time and I kind of naturally, I'm very like girly, then there's something about this man.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
I sense what he's projecting as some sort of leadership, but then only time will tell, you know. So
right. So there's an attraction, right? And then at some point, because the relationship, you both have been in relationships, and those relationships have ended.
Yeah.
So, what was it about the man? Because you're saying it's the man, it's not the idea.
Yeah.
Right? So what is it about the man that ended the relationship?
So that ended the relationship? Oh, well, I didn't assume we were in a relationship. I was just attracted.
No. Any relationship that you've been in. If you've been in a relationship with a man and that relationship is ended. Right?
The relationships from the past weren't good for me because I really didn't know who I was and what I stood for.
Right, so let's talk about those.
Yeah.
Why did the relationship?
She just said.
What was it about the man that ended the relationship?
Just
from your perspective.
No, I was gonna say we attract what we are.
Correct. So
so if we're not right,
I started
we're attracting
realizing
that something that's not right.
Right. So, like growing up, you have moments in your childhood. So as an adult, I took those same little girl tactics into relationships and stuff. And then with him, it started displaying. So like he had these unsolved family issues that I didn't have the capacity for. Right. Because I had my own personal issues. And he'd take it out on like drinking and just all sorts of negative things. So I don't know, that there was a reflection of me or where I could be if I stayed with this person. Okay. So I took off.
So what kind of where did you get your idea? And I'm talking about your past relationships. I'm not talking about the ones we're talking about the ones that ended. Where did you get your idea of, I guess, your role in relationships as a woman? Who gave you that template?
I guess maybe no one, because especially if I was back then, living from a place of hurt, it was maybe rejection or, feeling rejected or whatever negativity you experienced growing up. You take all those emotions and you don't really have a template that you don't have one.
You don't have one?
It's kind of like messy.
So you're saying you don't have one, or you had a messy one?
There was a messy one.
There was a messy one.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
From childhood traumas, probably. Just not having that right father role model coming up.
What, did you have a mother role model?
Yeah, I knew how
Your mother advised you at all about how to exist in a relationship?
Yeah, but it's still not the same without having your father show you and tell you.
Okay, so the messy template you received, you got from?
Just probably myself, just self-rejection from people. I don't know where it came from.
Okay. Sherry?
My mother, definitely, she exemplified. I don't know about y'all's parents, but my mother is, 70 plus years old. So those parents were really, I would say, they swept things underneath the rug. So they didn't really talk that much, but they did what it needed to be done. So my mother showed me how to be a lady and what a relationship required, because she did it. You know, my father had a heart attack and a stroke when I was 5 months old, so I've never seen him go to work a day in my life, and my mother carried that load my entire life. She worked 16 hours a day, came home on the days that she was off and cooked and prepared meals. She kept the house clean, so she was a great example of how far a woman could go in being loyal to her husband, who back then could not even get up and go to work. He just depended on the Social Security. So my mother was great in regards to exemplifying, but because my father was ill, I feel like I lacked in the way of now the woman that I am. I tend to take care of my man because that's what I saw my mom do.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I'm overly catering and overly passive in the way of maybe not pushing my man to like go above and beyond or go after his dreams, because I saw my mother just take care of my father my entire life.
Right. So you still need that father there to show you how to be pursued by that man. Like,
Correct.
You need that father there. Right.
Lulu?
So
Your relationship template, where'd you get yours?
I'm sorry. I feel terribly sorry for your mother that she had to go through that. Because What is my relationship template?
Yes, ma'am.
I would say my parents. Growing up, they barely argued, but I knew that they had an understanding of how things were done in the house. So like, my mother, even though like she didn't necessarily have to work, she did because she loved nursing. That's what she wanted to do. So she lived her dream and was able to provide. So I was able to see a good balance of what she needed from him and what he needed from her. And that they, I don't know, like they just kind of worked, you know. I could say in the 20 years I lived in the house, if I've argued 3 times at the most. The house is pretty quiet for the most part. They just, I don't know. I liked the dynamic that they had, so I wanted to recreate that same dynamic.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Eddie?
Unfortunately for me, when we were coming to America, somewhere
From?
Bahamas. When we were coming to America, somewhere in the midst of those couple of months to a year, they got a divorce. And I was about 5 or 6 years old, and it crushed me. And it just kind of like skewed my whole, like my idea of love and forever was no longer attached to each other. It was in that moment of them two getting a divorce that I learned that love doesn't last forever. And within that, it created a runner out of me, because I saw at 5 years old that it did not work out between my mom and my dad. And so relationships, I've never been broken up with. No matter how bad the relationship was, it was always me that left. Always, every single time. So at some point in my life, I decided to go back to therapy, and it was really my therapist that connected the dots for me, because I told her I do want a healthy relationship and I want to stop running. And because I realized that's what I was doing, because I knew that if I fell in love with someone and I allowed my heart to open up, that person has the power to then abandon me. So I had a fear of abandonment, because in my mind, love doesn't last forever. My mom and dad got a divorce. So it took me going to therapy to sort of heal those wounds of abandonment and my trust issues, to now I'm in a healthier space when it comes to relationships.
Okay, so we got our relationship templates from our parents, essentially. Right?
Essentially, yeah.
You didn't want to say you got yours from your mom.
I wasn't sure. I was like, I guess.
I was like, she almost did. She just.
Yeah, I'm like, yes.
Okay. If you could, okay, so as a team, right? We're going to add something in the pot of in terms of developing a relationship template for the ladies who are coming behind you. What is the thing? Just one, because I know there's probably many. What's the thing that you would like to? You think would be beneficial in terms of creating an environment for men and women to move and be together in relationship, to move well together and be in relationship? What's an attribute or a thing that you? It could be anything. What do you think?
Communication.
Communication.
Effective
communication.
That's very good.
Because everybody communicates, but it has to be effective.
Anyone? Lou? Yes, ma'am. I know because I do that. The way I do it, I get it. And I absolutely don't mind repeating it. So the question is, as a team of ladies, you're developing a relationship template for that, so the young people can, those who are coming behind you can use it to be well and be good with a man in a relationship. What thing would you like to see developed in as part of that template to make that possible?
I would say have very strong boundaries and standards.
For
For the relationship.
sure.
I think education. I think it's really important for us to, as women, to take time out to educate ourselves on men, on their perspective, on what they deal with on a day-to-day basis, as being a black man in America. With relationships, I think that is going to be very impactful to my daughter. If she's able to have that type of communication with, older black men, young black men, just to say this is what I'm going through, so that she can recognize red flags or recognize when that she's now faced with that. If her boyfriend or her significant other comes to her and says certain things, she's now being exposed and educated to their perspective.
Eddie?
I would say being cooperative and being willing to work together. I think a lot of the times us as women, we don't believe in a man's plan, and so we become uncooperative.
Yes.
Because we don't believe it, we don't see the vision. So I would say be willing to hear him out and be willing to cooperate, believe in him, and be there to support him.
Okay, I apologize. That was great. I loved all of that. There's a couple of things I want to go back on to. You said you don't believe his vision.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing that popped into my head was, how do you get intimate in a relationship with a man who has a vision that you don't believe in?
Things happen.
And not how. I apologize. The question is not how. Why? The question is why.
Yeah. Well, relationships, things happen throughout the relationship. So maybe, you meet him and you guys are both working a 9 to 5, and then he comes to you and he says, babe, I have enough money in my savings to start a business. I think I'm ready to quit. But while I'm building this business, I'm going to need you to X, Y, Z. Here's the plan. This is what I'm doing. I have my 401k. I got my savings. I think I'm ready to start my business. And so if she is not receptive to what his new vision is, that can create a lot of problems, because she will not be cooperative while he's going through this thing that he's going through, because he feels like this will take not just him, he's not just doing it for him, he's seeing like a whole different lifestyle that he could provide for the whole family. But in order to get to that next level, she's gonna have to do X, Y, Z. And if she's not cooperative in doing X, Y, Z, then that might cause some friction in his vision. So I would say for me, because that happens. You get to a point of success and you think you can take it to the next level, and you bring it to your partner, and she's like, what's wrong with what we have now? You know, she's not cooperating.
So, okay.
Wouldn't that create resentment?
So,
of course.
So, okay, again, the topic is, what does it mean to be a man? Purpose. It fuels him. And when he's not able to pursue his purpose, I haven't done any research on this, but this is off the top of my head. I don't see that he can actually see himself as a man if he's not chasing his purpose. So, if I'm right, and he's supposed to be chasing his purpose, and for whatever reason you're not cooperative in that.
Is that the mirror again, though?
The mirror's always in play.
Exactly.
The mirror's always in play.
So then now we're looking at the mirror, because is that in turn working for his good, that the woman at the time is not as quickly to jump on board? Does that still make him go harder because he believes in his own vision, to now where he's working it without her being cooperative, and in turn it does evolve as she sees him being committed to the vision, being committed to what he proposed to her, and now she jumps on board, because there's levels to this thing.
Yes.
And everything's not just going to flow the way that we want it to flow. These are relationships. They evolve.
I mean, sometimes a person's trepidation could be you're indecisive. So now you say, hey, I've been taking my 401k, I've been starting this business. You be like, well, yes, last week you wanted to be a photographer. What are you doing? So it has to. Cooperation is cooperative. You guys have to put it all together. You have to be like, yeah, I'm 10 toes down. As long as you really 10 toes down, and you just ain't just saying shit. So it's like, it's different, man. It's a collective agreement or partnership. That's what a partnership is.
It's also different too. In a relationship, I mentor a person in Arkansas right now. We've been married about 15 years, and to his humility and to a fault, he has demonstrated repeatedly to his wife that he comes up with great ideas, with jackass plans. He finally got to the precipice, the place of understanding that one of the reasons why the relationship was going sideways, because he's never succeeded at anything except coming up with a new plan. She ain't got no reason to get on board with somebody going around in circles like a hamster. It's not like she folded her arms and said, I don't believe in you. She folded her arms and said, you gave me reason not to believe in you. And that's the mirror. Because my interaction with him is like, stop putting your hands in so many fires that you keep them in so long you get burned off and you don't know how to hold what God gave you to work with. Not for her. She's the beneficiary of your success. But for you to fulfill that which God put in you, going back to something that was said a few minutes ago, work with what you got. And if you do it not from a spiritual righteousness place, but from a righteous place of being committed to the assignment, those who are connected to you, especially that woman in that relationship or whomever you're in a relationship with, they're the beneficiaries and they believe in you. And they want to see you prosper. Why would somebody pour in a glass with an open bottom?
Right.
That's why it's important to like be able to have an honest conversation.
Yes.
Like say, hey babe, you have great plans, but you won't plan for the plan. So you can't, we don't achieve nothing.
Yeah.
So
I think the balance in that a solution could be like where you like instead of her crossing her arms and talking about how the plan is bad, why don't you be the compliment to help him plan? Right. You know?
Okay.
So that would be ideal.
Right. Yeah, that would be ideal.
If that's what he wants.
But on the opposite side, he has to be willing to listen.
Right.
Because see, him with having a bad plan, he probably has people around him who can help him plan.
Right.
But you got to be willing to shut up and be like, yo, help me.
Now
Help me do this the right way.
And
then as a team, you get it done.
That's it.
Because that's leadership. Leadership is knowing that you can't steer.
Right.
That's
So you delegate properly.
Yeah.
Okay, Luther,
Okay.
you're trying to get in there.
I have. 3 people ago. No, with the original question which she answered, when it comes to women being intimate with men that they don't entertain the vision, it's because a lot of time people start a relationship and they never discuss what is their vision for the relationship. They just go along, you know, like we're going on dates, we're chilling, we're vibing. And then, like, when it gets serious, like, oh, snap, now it's time to have that conversation. And you're like, wait, I can't go along with this vision because it doesn't go along with my future plans. And on top of that, too, I think she mentioned this earlier when she was saying, like, you need to also be secure for me to feel secure. So if your life is not together, I can't listen to your vision because you in the shitter. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Because I can't see the follow through if you haven't done enough follow through. It's kind of like someone that be like, well, I want to start this business, but like you started school, but you didn't finish school, or like you did so many things that you didn't finish. How do I know that I can put my faith in you and you want to continue this if you haven't done any at all? And a lot of times, most of these guys don't necessarily have a vision. They just go with the flow. They just say, you know what, I found a career that works for now, I'm just going to do it. If something happens, it changes, great, I'll steer to the new direction. And a lot of times, like sometimes with women, a lot of times, most of us are planners. We want to see 5, 10, 20 years from now, and a lot of times guys are not like that. So it may be a situation we might have to steer them along because, you know, they can't think without us. So that could be the result where we got.
Who have you been dating? I
know women who think that same.
Who is this terrible guy that you dated?
It's not men. It's just humans.
Okay. So, all right. So, Sherika.
I'm not helping them.
No. Sherika said education and education on men.
That's a good.
So, is it fair to say? And we're talking. I'm going to talk specifically about black women and in relationship. Is it fair to say that black women are not taught how to love, care, and nurture black men?
I don't believe that. I was taught how to love and take.
Some and all.
Okay, but
some and all.
But I'm going to speak from a woman that was taught.
Okay.
So no, I don't agree with that. What I will say is that our ecosystem as a black community is all out of balance. Okay. Western civilization either murders incarcerates or feminizes the black man to now we don't even have that much to choose from, because this is what American culture has done to our black men. So now the ecosystem is all jacked up because now we're the protectors and providers. We're masculine. We're just all out of balance. So we don't know how to love this new man. Who is this man? Who is he? You know, he's feminine. He's damaged because they attacked him at such a young age and put him in and out of prison. You know, they're trying to murder him. It's so hard to even know how to love this man because of how American culture treats him.
That's by design, man. That's by design.
So the ones that are out there that have support systems or have a relationship with God where they're able to actually combat being a black man in America, hell, they're just trying to survive. To find a good woman that really is going to support him and build him up and love him the way that he really needs to be loved, she mad. She fat and she angry right now.
Right.
The majority of black women is fat and angry right now, okay? And they're fat and they're angry because the Western civilization has taken our men from us. In every other culture, that woman sees their man as their man. The Asian woman sees the Asian man as their man. The white woman sees the white man as their man. The black woman, where are our men?
Damn.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, wow.
So how are we supposed to love them? I can't teach my daughter right now how to love this man. What am I going to tell her? What tools am I going to tell her? You know what I'm going to tell her? I'm going to say, love yourself and love God. And become the best woman that you can be. That's what I'm going to tell her. That's the only thing I can tell her.
But that's by like you just described. It's like when you talk about, like when I was thinking about this whole conversation, when we were talking about love. To me, like, love is not a feeling. It's like it's natural order. So when you think about all these other cultures, they highlight and they cultivate family.
Right.
Because family is going to operate in natural order. Man, wife, child. You're going to operate in natural order. If you take the father from a family, it's going to destroy the family, and then there will be no order. So when you talk about the powers that be, the Rothschilds and all these people, like they are super family oriented, even if they don't like or love their family. They just know that matters.
They're loyal to the unit.
Yeah, they loyal to how the shit's supposed to work.
The unit and the culture.
So we try to incorporate love in that, and then we haven't even defined love. These people don't give a fuck about love. They care about their family.
It's all about the bag now. It's all about the money now. We don't have any. We lack so much compassion and empathy towards each other. Compassion and empathy as the black people is what even got us enslaved, and now we can't give it to one another.
Damn.
It's true though.
I can try to understand the plight of African Americans as a foreigner, but I will never, ever feel bad for black men. I will never feel bad about incarceration. I will never feel bad about you guys being feminine, because I believe that's a personal choice. I'm not here to fix you. I'm not going to. I'm not going to love you into making yourself a better man. That's your job. Okay? Like, I didn't make you do these actions. I didn't make you do these terrible things that you're such a terrible person now. No. Like, I don't like how black women keep putting all this extra weight on ourselves for these black men that choose to do stupid things with their life, stupid choices. That's ridiculous. Like, we have enough as women to deal with, to having to put extra load about these men. No. We can't love them into being better men. They gotta fix that themselves.
how does a man? Oh, how does a man? Yes.
I'm not overcompensating. I'm not doing that.
I don't agree with that. You can love somebody.
You absolutely can. You absolutely can.
Aspire from afar.
Changing their life. You can love someone into that.
Yeah, I have done it. You absolutely can.
As much as men in person or online or in these weird, stupid podcasts trying to tell people or men rule the world, da da da. Like, if y'all truly rule the world, why do you need us to fix your problems? Make it make sense. Like, if you okay, I have to work twice as hard as a woman, as a foreigner, and as a black woman on top of that, right? You already a man in this world. So ain't no way I should be doing better than you. Period.
Unless they make the system for it.
No, that's no system.
Oh man, stop.
That's
it,
no
man.
true system problem.
Okay, well,
this is false. This is your own fault. Y'all make these decisions. Period. That's no man coming after y'all.
Hey, Brother Bruce.
I hate that theory.
One moment.
It's not a theory, it's proven.
It's not.
It's not even a theory.
You do bad stuff, you get locked up.
Okay,
Period.
all right, listen. So let's say what you just said.
Let's not do that.
Listen what you just said. You said as a black woman and a foreigner, you have to work twice as hard. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
That would mean that the system is flawed if you have to work harder.
No, what I'm saying is you already have an advantage as a man, period. That's what I'm saying. You have a better advantage in your man world, right?
Listen to what I'm saying.
So what you need to do is to show me that you have foothold in this world as a man.
Listen to what I'm saying though.
Yeah, but okay. So listen. Both things can be true.
Yes.
There are. When the example Jeremy used to demonstrate that by your words you are confessing that there is a system that makes it challenging for a black Haitian woman to have to maneuver the way she has to be successful in this system, right? So there is a system.
Correct.
Is what so we can agree
you
that
just
there
gotta
is.
be aware of this.
We can agree that there is. We can
say there's a hierarchy.
Okay,
That's
that's a system.
That's
That's a system.
Yeah.
So we agree that there is a system,
There's something.
and people have to maneuver in that system. So we agree that there's a system. Then we can also agree that people make bad choices.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. Oh, this came to me. My wife has always had a thing for Mimi's chocolate, etc. Desserts are delicious. She's always had a thing for baking. And at the beginning of that journey, she wanted to get into that business, so she worked at a bakery. And a woman walked in. I'm standing there watching, and a woman walks in, and she wants a cake for her child's birthday. And she walks over and she says, I want whatever the cake was. I can't remember what it was she asked for, but my wife said, well, I'm sorry, we don't have that. What we do have is we have this, and we have this. And we also have marble. I think it's like a chocolate and a white cake and then a marble cake. You can get all those things. So the lady said, oh, okay, then I'll have the marble. And then she wanted a particular icing. She said, well, we don't have that icing. But we do have this, and we have that. So she chose that icing. And then she wanted something else on the cake. She said, well, we can't do that. I think it was like something had something to do with Disney. You can't make nothing with Disney. So she said, we can't do that, but what we can do is we can do this. And the woman walked out happy not getting what she wanted. Yeah. Right? So, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is,
Why she ain't go to another store?
they're all like that.
They're all like that.
They're all like that. Right? You go, I don't care. So, but the point I'm making is, there's a system. And in the system, you're using the choices that are available to you to make choices.
Right.
So if you got a bunch of bad stuff to choose from, if you have a lot of bad stuff to choose from, then it makes sense that most people are not going to be, because most people aren't on the high level. We agree with that, right? Most people are on a high level. So then that means that the majority of people are going to make choices based off the bad stuff that's in front of them. So it makes sense that if there's a system and people are making bad choices, that a lot of those people, these bad things are going to happen. Okay. I think both things will be true.
Go ahead,
Lexi.
As far as what you're saying, I find a lot of foreigners, because I'm not, well, I was born here, but I didn't grow up here. My family's from the islands. But when people are from the islands or people are not from America, when they come here, that's the first thing that we automatically see, because they don't
automatically see what
is Black Americans. They'll complain. They'll say this is that, this is the third. Oh, it's hard for us. When we come here, we look at it differently. As far as if 10 of us have to stay in a house together because this one is this and this is that, and we have to sit down and we have to build and we grinding and doing this and doing this.
Right.
We do it. There's no excuses for it. So that's why
you're in agreement with what I just said.
Right.
What you just pointed out is in full agreement of what I just said.
She agrees. She said
right?
she agrees.
No.
That's not what you said.
She agreed with her.
Okay,
no,
go ahead.
hold on. Now,
No, she did.
so a lot of people, when we come from the States, or even like Asians or whoever, when they come to the States, that's what they do. But what they do is they stick together. They stick together, they work together, and that goes back to what he was saying earlier.
Right.
But
now,
the American
now here, granted, you have, so if you don't know your history, then it kind of like is, you know, when you talk, you got to kind of understand some of the history. So some of the history, when it comes to, there's a lot of things like, you know, that puts, what makes it a little harder for Black Americans. But granted, like I said to you earlier today, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for those Black Americans. Being from the islands. Being from the islands, being from wherever we are from. We wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be sitting out here talking or none of that stuff if it wasn't for those Black Americans.
The
Black Americans that didn't get caused down,
Yeah.
the Black Americans that
The
their families got
disintegration.
raped.
Yes,
Those
the
Black
disintegration
Americans
of
that
the
were
Black
pulled
family.
apart.
Culture.
All
Yes.
of that. Granted, now knowing that, hopefully it's like, yes, you knowing that if you're put in a bad situation, you know, for us it'd be like it's a common sense thing. You know, Seth, you stepping over there, you're gonna get burned. Why would you step over there?
Right.
When I came here, I grew up in Baltimore. Nothing but crack and heroin. That's how we honestly end up moving down here, because my stepdad was some big idiot. We live on the 3rd floor. Somebody came knocking and rushed us. I was like, what, maybe 8 years old. They tied him up and put a gun to my mouth.
Wow.
Now, did I decide to take that and turn to crack? Did I decide to take that and turn to heroin when I know it's quick, easy money? No, I knew the consequences to that. I knew that if I go and step out of that, yes, quick, easy money, but quick, easy money don't last forever.
Yeah.
At some point, there's a full stop. And when that full stop hits you, it's not just going to hit you, it's going to hit you, and it's going to create a huge domino effect.
Yeah. I would like to add that the disintegration of the Black family is and has been on purpose.
Oh, yes.
This is documented. No, this is documented stuff.
Yes.
That's why it's offensive when someone says that there is no system.
There
This
is
is documented,
100%
declassified stuff
system.
that you can go through your library and read.
The slave owner would take the strongest Black slave
Yes.
and put a bag over his head and make him have sex with his own mother. Years later, they would take the Black man out of the home. I believe it was the 70s. They would 60s, 70s. They would purposely take the Black man out of the home
They
to
convinced you
where
that you don't need a man.
you don't need a man because the food stamps and welfare
That's
section.
exactly what I'm talking about. That's
If
how
they
the
You don't believe
whole
that?
man-
Even though it's true?
That's,
If you-
no,
if
it
they-
is
Wait,
not-
wait,
it's
Wait.
110%
You don't believe it's true?
I think
Wait.
she
No.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I apologize. You said believe.
I don't believe the statement where like they took the black man out of the house because of food stamps. The man wanted to leave. He was leaving.
No, that's not true. Hey, can I say something real quick?